No, Carl, do not worry about cameras. This is a camera off session, so do not worry. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. Welcome. Okay, so this is the commercial version of the AI services that we have both inside of the dashboard, and we're also going to take a look at some alternative systems that I would recommend as well. That the board does recognize to help you when you're working directly with your commercial buyers and sellers, as well as if you're working with a seller selling a business opportunity. Okay, so without further ado, guys, we're going to get started. This is being recorded, as I mentioned, in the residential version earlier today. I will send you guys a copy of the recording roughly around 4 to 4:30 today. You don't have to give me your email. I have everyone's email that registered. It will go directly to that registration email in the afternoon. Okay, so as I mentioned, this morning in the first session, you can find all of our videos on the Miami Realtors website. And very soon, all of the Miami benefits, if you just happen to be an R World member, some of the products I may mention, you'll have access to those within a month to 2 months, including potentially having access to discount plans as well, if you happen to be currently with the R World members. But what we're going to start off with first is something we all have access to for both the Miami Realtors members as well as our World members. We're going to look first at a service by the name of RPR, which is, if you're not familiar with, it's short for Realtor Property Resource. And if there's a platform that's included within your benefits that gives you a wealth of commercial products, including understanding your local market, maybe analyzing different types of commercial businesses, that is going to absolutely be the RPR platform. So we're going to start there. We're going to go right here into the gateway. We still have folks coming in, it looks like. Okay. So forgive me if you see my mouse moving around, guys. I'm just letting everyone in. We still have folks coming in as we speak. Okay. We're going to go inside of the gateway. Okay. And what I want to show you guys first inside of RPR, located inside of the commercial section of RPR. First, I want to show you guys the commercial site selection. Okay, now there's third-party systems, including other providers, that includes Moody's Analytics as a part of an option to upgrade. But you get Moody's Analytics inside of the commercial site selection included within your member benefits. Just wanted to make sure I tell you that. But what is the commercial site selection? Just in case you don't know what this does. What the commercial site selection tool is capable of doing is giving us spending habits of consumers. So if we're working with for example, a struggling retail owner, they're getting away from maybe the beach. Maybe they want to move more into a suburban area, just as an example. We're going to be able to find spending habits of retail expenditures, restaurants, and for our wholesalers. For example, Sam's Club model wholesalers, where they sell they sell everything in bulk. We're going to be able to see how much we as consumers spend on also individual items. Okay, so we're going to feature that first. We're going to go here under research, and then we're going to go right there where you see commercial site selection. Okay, for this little search that we're going to do as a part of the AI class, because this is data driven and being compiled, we're going to focus on, let's go ahead and say, let's mix this up a little bit. I feel like I always pick on Hollywood, that area. Let's say, let's mix it up. Let's get out of Broward. We'll say Doral. The Doral area, I feel like Doral's been the subject today. So we're going to look at spending habits, specifically in the Doral area, based on retail goods. And then as a separate search, we'll also look at expenditures on restaurants. But I want to show you guys all of the individual data sets that we get when it comes to spending habits, so you see everything. Okay, we're also going to combine looking at expenditures at restaurants as well as looking at expenditures directly based on. Actually, we'll switch it up a little bit. We'll say we're going to also focus on the average disposable income as well for a given area. Okay, so we're going to go here once we put in the area that we want to look up. We're going to go to the second option. And then in order to locate different types of spending habits, we would go right here where it says what they buy. All right, and these are all of the general lookups that has individual subsections. So the first thing we have access to is total expenditures at retail goods, where I can focus on all retail spending, alcoholic beverages, and we still have folks coming in, guys. Hold on. Sorry, there you go. Okay. We also have the ability to focus on different types of expenditures on alcoholic beverages. So, for example, maybe I'm looking at a gas station, right, that has a license, liquor license in specific. We have the ability to just focus on alcohol consumed at home. So they're going there to pick it up. For example, at the gas station, they're going to go home. We also have beer and ale as a sub option, wine. Maybe we have someone that has a franchise, such as Total Wine or a spirits location, alcohol consumed away from home, alcohol consumed away on, for example, trips as well. That one I feel like is going to be great for maybe a gas station, the business. Also, we have apparel. And apparel gives us subsections including men's, women's, kids, shoes, infant, jewelry, apparel services. We have education that we can unlock, entertainment and recreation, including theaters, cable and satellite television services. Maybe you're dealing with a local business that provides, for example, internet, fiber optics in specifics. We have cable and satellite audio. Maybe we are dealing with a mechanic shop that does upgrades for vehicles, including the sound system, rental, streaming, download video, musical instruments, streaming, downloadable audio, pets, great for pet shops, toys and games, recreational vehicles, sports and recreation, bike sharing, photography, bicycles, reading, sports and recreation, catered events. Again, I find that this one's underutilized. There's so many business models inside of this subsection. Water sports, recreation, membership fees, winter sports, not so good for South Florida, but hey, hunting and fishing, that's big down here. And then camping equipment. I like to always feature entertainment recreation because there's just so many business types just under that section alone. We also has financial services, maybe for a financial institution, including student loan debt, credit card debt, vehicle loan debt as well. We have healthcare, individual items, including eyeglasses for an optometrist, contact lenses, medical services, drug and vitamins, such as for a health and wellness company, household goods. So that's going to be great for trades as well. Fabric, furnishings, furniture, carpets and rugs, major appliances, small appliances, and of course, housewares, guys. Last but not least, we're not going to spend too much on this. There's a lot to uncover with additional products for commercial when it comes to AI, but there's also personal care. Okay, including personal care products a little bit further down, and travel, such as for travel companies here, vacation clubs, foods and drinks, entertainment as well. Okay, so as I said, we're going to focus on retail expenditures. So I'm going to come up here, click on total expenditures and retail goods, and then we're going to tell the system we care about all retail spending. And then we're going to add one more data set. We're going to click on add more criteria. As I mentioned, we're going to look at the total disposable, I should say, income for Doral. So we're going to click on what they buy next. And we could even add up to 3 different data sets. We're going to come here into the middle section, and then we're going to focus on who they are. Sorry about that. Let me switch that real quick. Who they are. This is where we're going to find income analysis, so who they are, and then we're going to move here inside of the system, and then we're going to focus on income. And then for this model, we'll click on average disposable income, also known as how much they have after they pay their bills. For example, in the Doral market, we're going to move over here on the right inside of RPR, and then we're going to click on the Run Analysis button. All right, now there's different ways to cut up the information that you're looking at. Okay, some areas in Doral, they fall under unincorporated. Some areas fall under the city of Doral. So under geography, there is the ability to switch this to see if there is micro neighborhood data where we can get really close right off of, for example, Northwest 41st Street. That's a booming area, not to mention Northwest 74th Street as well. And then the areas in the dark purple, I want to be very, very clear. These are going to be the areas that spend the absolute most or is coming back with the highest amounts when it comes to disposable income. Again, the dark purple. Lighter purple is going to be the absolute next best areas. Okay. But if I move down here, I can see the individual names of those neighborhoods. And if I want to line them up based on total retail spending, if I come over here, click on all retail spending, it's going to show me the neighborhoods, the areas that spend the absolute most, and potentially the areas that have the highest disposable income. So right here, if I'm not familiar with where modern 45 or maybe modern 60 is located, we can find those easily by clicking the squares, and it's letting me know. Right here, we would want to look for maybe retail shops right off of Northwest 74th Street, right over here. Okay. Now, we could also potentially look into listings in that area. Now, this is a strong residential area. I would suggest maybe using the map, but we can jump into listing searches as well as running the trade area report on the local market so we get demographical information there. Okay, so again, this is located here on the left under research, right here under the commercial site selection tool. Fantastic when you're helping a business move to a different location. And what I love about this is because RPR is nationwide, we can look up properties in areas all over the United States, wherever Moody Analytics has data. Okay. Before we keep going, let me go ahead and jump into chat real quick. Dr. Carlin did ask, I have someone looking for a property with a cafe in the front and a kitchen to manufacture a wellness drink and pack for distribution. Where would I start? Property. So if you mean property, I would go directly here. Let me go ahead and let this person in real quick. Inside of RPR, because RPR does pull listings from the MLS as well as Craigslist and Brevitas, you can jump directly inside of the system. You can look using general commercial right over here. And then what I would do is look right here under keyword search. I would enter the exact type of property or the type of businesses that you're looking for, because I've been with the board for 11 years, and a lot of the fields, a lot of the commercial fields, when an agent puts a commercial property in the MLS are, as I call it, elective, meaning they don't have to put the information in. But if you go to keyword search, agents, they do not fail to describe the type of transaction that it is, as well as the style of property or business using the keyword search. This pulls directly from their description, as well as the property types that they selected when they put the listing together. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and go back into the main menu. All right. The next thing that I want to show you guys is going to be the trade area report that does take into consideration artificial intelligence. So we're going to go right here under research. We're going to click on the trade area report. Okay. I know that this class does have a lot of residential agents that also take it so that they become familiar with commercial. So I want to welcome you. What I love about the trade area report is it's not just phenomenal for a commercial investor. It's not just good for a bulk multifamily buyer. It's also great for you to analyze an area to know the type of homeowners or renters that live in that area. It can even help you analyze the market to understand the type of properties that they like, For example, does the current owners like townhouses more in that zip code or in that neighborhood? Or is that city or zip code dominated by renters? Maybe I have a buyer that wants to look into maybe the Medley market, maybe the Doral market, and they want to figure out if there's a high amount of renters, if it's worth maybe purchasing multifamily units, or maybe, for example, taking an old office building and then having the city, through a variance, have it rezoned for multifamily. Is that area, does it have a lot of strong single family home purchases or maybe a higher amount of renters? I find that this trade area report is not just good for commercial, but it's outstanding for also for residential. So we're going to come here. We're going to stick with Doral guys today. So I'm going to come here, put in Doral, Florida, but you could even put a neighborhood. Okay. And then what this does is it's going to tell you demographical information that is compiled from different companies, including Black Knight as well as Esri, so we understand that local market. Okay. All right. Absolutely, doctor. All right. Let's keep going. Okay. So I like to explain everything nice and slow so we understand. Over here on the right, this little button where you see create report, I'm not here to cover this today. We cover that in these full hour and a half commercial RPR class. I still have to go through Box Brownie with you guys, Crexy and Comstack. Okay. This button, though, what it does is it creates the trade area report that encompasses everything that we're just about to go over. Okay. But I would also, when I create the trade area PDF, I would want to have a summarized version of that trade area report available using the AI script writer. Okay, so inside of this report, the full PDF version, it's going to tell you at least the top three or top four individual types of homeowners that live there or the type of renters that live there, and it will tell you the type of properties that they're interested in. So segment, where it says first dominant segment, boom burbs, this is the top type of consumers that live there or potentially renters. And when you create the report, which we're going to do real quick, because this is more of a visual thing, just so we have a good understanding. Inside of that report, which is phenomenal for residential agents, under the trade area summary, it's going to tell us the type of homeowners that live there or potentially the renters that live there. And boom burbs is a little confusing, right? So if I come inside of the report just like this is going to tell me what Esri, but more specifically what RPR means by boom burbs, including how much they occupy as far as the total percentage inside of the Doral area. So boom burbs, they make up 22.6% of homeowners inside of the Doral area. This is going to give me the type of properties they like. So they like suburban areas, their median home value, the home ownership rate of that individual group, their age group, and then right here, the labor force, median age, household income, and a good understanding of who they are. And right there, it's going to give us a breakdown of their overall age group. Just wanted to show that real quick because that's going to make this part make a lot more sense. The segment, we know what population means, so it's letting me know the Doral area, the total population for that area is 83,727. It's going to give me the median age as well as the median household income for that area. Great for me to know if I'm working with maybe a business moving directly into the Doral area. A little bit further down, again, all of what we see here is included within the full version of the trade area report, including overall population, age, married, income, education, economic factors, how they commute to work. But these are individual segments where if I just want to grab the information, see it, and not necessarily provide it to a customer, so I can analyze that market, including all of the top five consumers that live there, including the types of properties that they like. I have all of that information unlocked right here. The purpose of me giving it to a customer, we have the create report where we can provide it via PDF, or maybe I'm familiar with the Doral area and I just want to have the artificial intelligence system pick certain segments of the trade area report. I have the AI script writer option. But these two are the same sets of information. It comes down to how you're presenting it. The create report, that's the PDF. I can download that, send it to the customer, select separate sections if they want to see it via email or via text. If I want to talk about it or maybe create a full-blown PowerPoint presentation, we have the AI scriptwriter. So we're going to go right there where you see AI scriptwriter, and I want to show you some amazing options in order to use this. Okay, let me jump into chat real quick. Gulia, if I have a retail shop center and looking for medical tenants, can we do it in here? Yes. So you would look at the property details, guys. So what I love about RPR is it can, where they have the data, it'll give you tenant information, including the type of individual businesses that are there. I'm not here to cover that, Gulia, but go inside of the search and then pull up the property. It'll give you the tenant information. And then Gulia, and can we find potential tenants whose leases are about? Oh, okay. That's a little bit of a different question. Um, that's still the original answer. Just pull up the property, and in some instances, it can give you that information, or if it's potentially vacant. All right, doctor, I apologize if I missed this, but did you say yes? This is going to be recorded, so you will get a copy. Absolutely. Okay. All right, we're going to keep going. Okay, so there is, as you can see, 6 different ways to take advantage of the AI system for RPR. Okay, so we have the one-page summary, which is where, for example, maybe I'm working with a landowner and I'm helping them contact the city to have that land rezoned. And I just want to provide bullet points based on how that area is performing, the options when it comes to multifamily there for sale versus rent. For example, traffic counts, just straight to the point for that local market. We have the one-page summary. Okay. We also have a full detailed report, which will take all of what we mentioned earlier on the other side of this page and create a full report that I can generate via email, text, or PDF. And then we have a PowerPoint presentation where I can just speak directly based on the top talking points based on the audience that I select up here that I'm going to cover in just a moment. Social video, what that's going to do is allow you, and I would do this either quarterly or once a month. You have the social video that will allow you to create a report on your local market or markets. If you have several markets that you service, you could create a video letting everyone know, as far as your followers on Instagram, Facebook, or on YouTube, letting them know how your local market is performing, including the type of ownership, renters, traffic counts using the social video. But I would use that again once a month, or I would say quarterly. Okay. If you just want to get a text version of the demographical information, including the type of owners that live there, income, population, and the type of housing. Again, housing means how many people outright own property versus the total amount of renters in the area. We can send that just via client email. And then we have this last option that we would do once, unless we update our photos. We have the social media card. So what that will allow you to do is create a card of yourself that you could put on your Instagram and Facebook to market yourself, letting everyone know that you are a commercial agent. Okay. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to put this to use. We're going to go here under tone, and then we have some options in here, including a couple that are exclusive to the commercial trade area scriptwriter. Professional is also in residential, conversational, friendly, confident, encouraging. What's a little bit different for this one is the warm and reassuring. And then we have also using the residential, we also have the direct and bold. So if you just happen to miss the original class that we had under residential, I just want to go over when to use these depending on the audience. So professional, that's great for a you're working with someone for the first time. For example, maybe a landlord, maybe they have an office space, flex space, and you're just trying to get the exclusive buyer brokerage agreement or the exclusive right to sell agreement. I like professional. That way we could emphasize all of the talking points to get that listing agreement or buyer brokerage agreement signed. Conversational, I like this one as well as friendly. I like these two here for the social media options and the social video option. Okay, but I wouldn't necessarily use that if I'm trying to get an agreement signed. Okay, confident. I like confident as well as the direct and bold if you're working with an investor. So, for example, you have maybe a business owner wanting to buy a trade name of a company, maybe franchise. I like that here for direct and bold and confident. And then encouraging is if we're looking at a market that is vastly changing. So, for example, it's currently a mixed area, but primarily residential. But we're seeing it being rezoned through variances into commercial, which is happening a lot. We were seeing a lot of and to say this nicely, tear downs where there's a single family home, and then through variance, it's becoming multifamily, where we can have condo buildings. I like encouraging if we're going through a lot of rezoning that's happening. And then we have this one right here, warm and reassuring, which is good for pretty much just generally all of these options. Okay, so we're going to use professional for now. And then we have audiences, different types of key players that we would work directly with at different times as commercial agents. So we have investors and developers. We also have tenants and business owners, landlords and property owners. For business sales, we also have franchisees and national retail chains. That's great for anchored centers. I love that one for anchored centers. We also have property managers as well, such as individuals with CAM license, CAM licenses, economic development agencies as well. And then we have city planners. That one's good for rezoning, for variances, chambers of commerce and business associations, industry and local media. Maybe we're an agent that has some influence there, and maybe local news wants to get information based on how we see that local market. I love that one. And then last but not least, the social media and digital marketing options. This is the audience you would want to select here if I use the social media card or the social video, but I would switch that one, as I mentioned, to the conversational option for the social video. Okay. So we'll go back to professional and then audience for this quick little demonstration just to show you all of the amazing options is we'll go over here and then we're going to click on investors and developers. Okay, we're going to keep all of these options, but for multifamily investors, we want to include the housing, population, income, and then the primary segment. Again, primary segment is the individual types of ownership as well as the individual types of renters that live there. Okay, in the type of properties that they like. Okay, we're going to go ahead and click on the detailed report for this demonstration, and then we're going to move down to generate content. All right, because this is artificial intelligence, it will automatically generate different responses each and every time that you use it. And there's not a limit on how many times that you can use this system. So if you don't like the first thing that it creates, maybe it missed the section where we go through married couples or maybe renters that live there, just click generate. It'll create a different response each time. Okay, before I go through some of the amazing benefits of this, you can copy the response when ready and then plug that into a text message or into WhatsApp. You also have the ability to share it via email. Download this as I promised via PDF, as well as exporting this into Word as long as you have Word on your computer. Okay, so right here, because I'm focusing on, as I mentioned, investors and developers, and I'm using a professional term, We have the full market breakdown here for Doral, Florida, presents a compelling profile for investors and developers, characterizing by a diverse and affluent demographic base. The area's population growth of 10.35% indicates a robust demand for residential and commercial development. While its median household income is 116,194, that is underscored a prosperous community with substantial disposable income. Notably, the average net worth of someone that lives there is 539,000. It's going to also mention the opportunities there, including the type of segments that live there. Married couples and families prosper there, and then a breakdown of all those data sets that we saw earlier. Area's gone up by 10.35% in population, median household income, average net worth, the household composition. So there's a lot of strong married couples that live there. So great for families. A home ownership rate is 83% for the Doral area with a lower rental amount. So this is if I'm working with an investor, I would stress, at least for what I'm seeing so far, I think we would want to invest maybe not necessarily multifamily, maybe outright single family homes and townhomes, just based on that strong 83%. As it goes down, though, it's going to continue to give us information on the economic performance and growth trajectory. It's going to give us if the area's gone up or down in percentage, the high average of income. And then here's a little bit of some more information. It is giving us a rental rate. So when it does come to other types of properties, it is letting us know that there is a segment there of 55.2% of rental rates. They have increased there. Thinking that's going to be towards more of the single family home model, just based on the type of homes that people occupy. Median home value, as well as if the area has gone down or up in value. Doral has gone down by 6% within the past 12 months. And then the development capacity. This is my favorite thing. We're just going to go through this real quick. The individual types of properties that we might be able to invest. A little bit further down, including unemployment rates, economic resilience for that local market. And then if I want to generate this, if I don't like what it says again, I can just go back to the top and then generate a different set. Okay, now if I don't want to have to say all of this information or maybe email it to a customer, and maybe they're short and they just want the information in a one-page summary, there is that option here where we can just stick to the straight to the point talking points when it comes to that local market. Okay, again, all of that quick little breakdown in a quick 2-paragraph form. Okay, the other option is PowerPoint presentation. So this is also great if we're trying to get that buyer brokerage agreement signed or the exclusive right to sell agreement signed. We have the PowerPoint presentation here. All right, and then when I generate it, it will provide all of that information into a PowerPoint slideshow with all of the information that we can pull up, maybe on a projector. Maybe you can jump on a Zoom call. And then when I generate it, I can select my preferred colors. So these are automatically created for you, but we have custom where you can select your very own preferred color, just like so. So if you want that strong commercial red, we can lock that in, select our preferred font size, and then download that report. Again, based on characteristics that we select right up here. Okay, so let me go ahead and open that up real quick with great patience. All right, thank you guys. There you go. So it has that dominant red trade area report. This is also brand new, straight to the point at a glance based on the trades of that area, home ownership rates, the community segment, including a breakdown of the individuals that live there. Again, I would want that trade area report along with this, because if that customer asks, what's a boom burb? What's that mean? We have that trade area report handy where we could show them. Again, that one more time, because we're going over a lot of information, guys. The trade area report's right up here under create report. Okay, let's keep going. Just move this down real quick. Okay, we also have the segment profile there. Income and spending power. The density when it comes to population. The housing profile, which is great for an investor. including home ownership rates at 44%, and then rental rate in that area at 55.2%, economic income profiles, and then last but not least, our information at the end that we generated this report for that customer, including our photo and contact information. Now, your information and your photo, in order for that to show up inside of that report, you do have to come up here in the top right where you see the little arrow. Make sure you click on profile in order to add your photo and contact information, guys. Okay. All right. Now, last but not least, before I let you guys go with the RPR part, all right, the other thing I did mention is the client email is going to give a email friendly version of the report. And then the social media card, again, this is typically a one-time use unless you change your photo or your brokerage information. This is a social card that you could put into your Instagram, Facebook. Just make sure that your brokerage's information, email, your photos available, and your brokerage logo is available. And then this is a beautiful little report that you could create so you can gain more followers, for example, on social media. You can even share it with a caption as well towards the very bottom. And then it's going to generate a caption if you want to use it, located here. And then you can save it, download it, or share a QR code version of it right here. And you could put this easily in your email signature so you can gain more customers. Okay. Now, the other thing is all of what you generate is housed up here where you see media library, including all of your residential and commercial reports. They stay there. Okay. All right, guys. So that's a quick little rundown of the amazing AI components when it comes to the commercial RPR platform. So please take advantage. And I've only given you a taste of commercial when it comes to RPR. There's also Valuate. That's not AI, but Valuate will help you calculate the return on investment on a flip deal, as well as during a long-term hold. So what we went over in today's session is the commercial site selection, as well as the trade area report. Okay. All right, now we're going to keep going. The other things I want you guys to know about is virtual staging a commercial property. Okay. Now I don't recommend using AI home design. That's more for residential properties. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend the other one that we have in this dashboard. I recommend when it comes to virtually staging a property or maybe removing clutter, because that can happen, especially if we're looking at a warehouse space or office space. I recommend Box Brownie. Okay, so now you would want to go directly inside of the commercial real estate section. I will put a link for this into chat. They have a dedicated section just for commercial real estate, including image enhancement. So, and this is typical of commercial agents, is we take a lot of those photos ourselves, right? So we go to the space, the restaurant space, we take interior, exterior photos, and maybe we just need some image enhancement, or maybe we need to virtually renovate the property, stage the property so it looks furnished versus unfurnished. I find that Box Brownie is phenomenal for that. As you can see here, they also do item removal and virtual cleaning, and they can also create floor plans of that property for you as well. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to stress just real quick is this is not for free. There's, of course, a payment in order to take advantage of that. And they typically, the cost in order to take advantage of that would be displayed here on their website, depending on what it is that you're looking for. And based on the total amount of photos that you're generating. So it does say $1.60 per photo that you generate using the AI platform inside of Box Brownie. And they do have a 17-step enhancement process, up to 17 different ways to use the AI to create photos, including an HDR bracketing as well, to add a little bit of a highlight to the image. And they do have a 24-hour turnaround as well. Okay, so that's my recommendation when it comes to virtually staging a commercial property. All right. Another recommendation I have, especially if you're a dedicated commercial agent, is Crexy. Crexy is a website where there is listings, including listings that are just on Craigslist, but Craigslist listings, they do go to RPR. Okay, but Craigslist, when it comes to AI, what they have for commercial agents is a dedicated document storage capacity where, especially if you've been in the business for commercial for a very long time, you have a lot of LOIs. You have a lot of letter of intents that you sign directly with your customers. You have a lot of documents, including agreements, addendums, return on investment calculations that you have, your net sheets that you have them sign that you keep. What I love about this is going to allow you to upload all of those documents, and the AI is going to help you find them a lot easier. And that way you have a backup of all of those files, including memorandums inside of that platform. Okay. All right. So you would just come here. They would give you a quote based on taking advantage of that. Again, that's using the Corexi system. All right. Next up, just want to let you guys know if you didn't catch this last year, we have a platform. So if you ever have a business brokerage transaction, so inside of the MLS, let me just make sure this all makes sense from start to finish. If you ever have a business brokerage transaction that you list inside of the MLS, a business brokerage transaction is where, and we have a dedicated section for that in the MLS, it's where a business owner, they may not own the physical location. Maybe they're selling their franchise. Maybe they're selling the trade name of their company. Maybe they're a restaurant owner. Okay. When you list a business brokerage deal in the MLS, it does automatically go into the Venturo.com website. Okay, so Venturo.com is a public facing website where business sales are advertised. Okay, there is a total of 1.2 thousand business opportunities in Florida alone. They also have business transactions in the Texas area, Nevada, Michigan, and Minnesota area. And the reason why I'm covering this is if you ever have a business owner, okay, they don't know how to value their business. Again, maybe it's a restaurant owner. Maybe it's a Latin style restaurant, maybe a Jamaican style restaurant. They don't know how to value their business. What the AI will do with, of course, upgrading is it can give an instant business valuation. So the AI is going to look at the total equipment and inventory, and then it's going to analyze that local market based on demand for maybe, again, restaurant, gas station, retail business, over 230 business types, and it's going to give an instant valuation. This typically saves sellers $3,000 to $5,000 compared to a traditional professional valuation. So again, this is not when we're selling the physical commercial or leasing out the commercial property. This is if that business owner is selling their business itself. Okay. More information on this, plus all of the additional features for Venturo, make sure that you go to miamirealtors.com/Venturo. I just put that in the chat so everyone has access to this link. All right. Okay. All right. Next, let me go ahead and close these out. Last but not least, before I let you guys go, is CompStack. Okay. CompStack is an exceptional service when you're trying to come up with a CMA. So what I like about CompStack, and yes, you do have to upgrade, is it has a feature outside of the AI model where if you're working with a developer, you can immediately figure out the buildable area for maybe an office that can be built there, warehouse space, any commercial property, and as well as using CompStack to find on and off market sales for a comparative market analysis report, including also for leases. Okay, the benefit of using CompStack when it comes to AI is three things. They have a comp scout. What that's going to do is it's going to analyze that local market in order to come up with a rental prediction. So if you're working with any commercial landlord, maybe it's a special purpose property, flex space, warehouse, the comp scout, which is located here, they have a breakdown on it a little bit further down under CompStack AI. It's going to tell you that it can immediately, very quickly give you rental trends and a potential range when it comes to lease prices using the Comp Scout option, as well as the rent predictor. And then the AI market summary, one of my absolute favorite parts of this thing is the AI market summary will also allow you to create reports for a commercial investor, including real-time charts based on what's happening in that local area based on sales. All right. And not to mention, it will also give information on, and I'll open this up just so we can see it real quick. Under the AI market summary, let me open that up. This can also give us a full breakdown on tenants that occupy, as we can see here on the right, office spaces, industrial spaces, multifamily, and retail as well. Okay, guys. All right. Last but not least, there's one more service. I forgot. CompStack is not the only one I wanted to show you guys real quick. Another service to look into when it comes to artificial intelligence is Reonomy. Okay, this is another solution that you would have to pay for, but what I love about it is it takes into consideration predictive analytics within its AI model. So what that does is it will find based on what that owner's doing for any commercial space. It's looking at the likelihood of them potentially selling their property. That is outstanding when you're working with a buyer. A lot of commercial transactions happen off market. We have to sometimes drive around in that area to see if there's a for sale by owner sign when it comes to commercial transactions, right? They're not always listed on third-party websites. So Reonomy, I'll go ahead and put this into chat here. Reonomy has that predictive analytics model when it comes to AI, which is the likelihood to sell, predicting, scoring, analyzing ownership, tenure, debt position. So it does look at if they're potentially in a pre-foreclosure scenario, transaction history, and market signals to surface properties most likely to transact within the next 12 months, guys. I do want to thank you so much for your time. Again, this was recorded. You guys will get a copy of today's session around 4 to 4:30 very shortly. And yes, if you took this class as well as the residential class, you're going to get credit